Hi everyone, my name is Masima Delight and here I post some tutorials. Today's video is all about the making of this backless padded gown that has a front slit. So in this tutorial, I'm running you through the process of how I achieve this and how you can also make it. So let's just get right into the video. Okay, for this tutorial, I have 2.5 yards of red sequence material. Then I have 2.5 yards of my lining. Then I have my zipper. I also bought 2.5 yards of my paper stare. Then of course our thread and our ribbon. Okay, pattern drafting time. So the first thing I did now, I made a line at the top part of my pattern paper. That will be my starting line for this pattern I will draft. After that, I want to get my shoulder to bust, that shoulder to nipple, my shoulder to on the bust, and the half length I am working with. Okay, so if I'm done making those lines, next I want to do now to add extra 2 inch to my length. So I'm adding extra 2 inch allowance, then I'll use my ruler to connect those points. Okay, so I'm done connecting those points. The first line is my SH, my shoulder line. After that, I have my shoulder to on the bust, shoulder to bust, sorry. Then I have my shoulder to on the bust, I have my half length, and I have my allowance. So SH shoulder, B bust line, UB on the bust, HL half length, and AL for my allowance. So my shoulder line, I'm getting the division of my shoulder measurement here. Whatever your shoulder is, divided by 2, and you make a mark there. Now for my chest line, I do get my chest line by adding 1 inch division of my shoulder measurement. So my shoulder is 7.5, adding 1 inch, it's 8.5. So there I have my chest line. So I'll use my ruler now to make straight line on those 8.5 I just marked now. So that's done. So that place we write CH, that is for chest line. So on this our chest line, we'll mark the division of our shoulder measurement, which is 7.5. Then we'll connect this 7.5 to the 7.5 on our shoulder line. So this whole new line we're going to create is our armhole line. Okay, so now that's done. Next, I want to go down by 1 inch from my shoulder line. Get the mid from that 1 inch to my chest line. I want to get the midpoint. Then I'll use my pencil to make a mark at that midpoint. After that, I want to go in by half of an inch. Then using my pattern master, I'll connect from that 1 inch I went down by at my shoulder line to that half inch down to my chest line. So this curve I'm creating now is my armhole curve. Okay, so now we're done. We're done with that. For our shoulder, our neckline, sorry, I'm working with 3 by 3. After that, I'll use my pattern master again to create a curve. Now we're done with that. Now I want to create our shoulder slope from our neckline all the way to that 1 inch we went down by at our shoulder line. So now I'm done with that. Next thing we have to do now is you want to go up in our chest line. Now you can decide to go up by 2 inch, go up by 1 inch, can decide to go up by 1.5. It just depends on what you feel will be enough, like how, like your preference, how you want your cleavage to show or to be visible. Okay, so now I'm done. I want to just use my ruler to make that point, like draw my line. After this, next thing is our nipple to nipple measurement. So whatever your nipple to nipple is, you divide it by 2 and you make mark. So I'm making mark all the way from my allowance to my bust line. After that, I went all the way to my shoulder slope and I'm dividing it by 2, and I also make a mark at that point. Next thing we want to do now, we want to join our shoulder slope to our nipple to nipple measurement on our bust line. Remember, bust line, not chest line. No. After we're done joining that, we'll then carry join our nipple to nipple measurement all the way to our allowance line. So my nipple measurement, I made mark of my nipple at my bust line and also at my allowance line. I didn't mark at my chest line. No. Okay, so now I'm done with that. I want to make create my darts now. So I want to go in by 0.75 at both sides of my darts. That is from my underbust to my allowance line. Underbust 0.75, allowance 0.75, underbust 0.75, allowance 0.75. Now I'm done with that. I'll use my ruler to make straight lines all the way to my underbust. So just what I'm doing, and you do yours like mine. That's done. On my underbust, I want to go up by 1.5. Having done that, next we'll bring our pattern master and we'll create curves. So create just like you see me creating mine. Okay, so now that we're done, we're going to go to that line we made above our chest line. I'm going to mark 0.75. So on each side of our dart, we'll mark 0.75. Having done that, we're going to use our curve now to make a curve from that 0.75 all the way to our bust line. So see what I do and do just like mine. So we're going to do the same thing at the other side of this dart. Okay, so that's done. So now is we want to work on our sweetheart neckline. Okay, I tend to go down by 1 inch on my chest line. So I try to go down by 1 inch on my chest line. Having done that, I'll use my pencil to make a mark. So I want my sweetheart neckline to start from there. That's done. So I'm going to use my pattern master now to just create this kind of shape. I don't want like to create this sweetheart shape. So just see how I kept my pattern master. So I'm just trying to find the right angle that I want. Then I'll use my pattern master to curate. That's done. I'll go to the other side. So this other point, I want to just create a curve into my armhole line. So see where I'm placing my pattern master, and you place yours like mine. So now that's done. So now at my chest line, I felt like the sweetheart neckline is too high. I felt like it needs to go lower. So I decided to take it all the way to my bust line. So my sweetheart neckline will start from my bust line. Okay. So now the last thing we need to do now is just to put our body measurements. So we'll divide our bust by 4. You make a mark there, divide our underbust by 4, make a mark there, and divide our waist measurement by 4. You make a mark there. So after making those marks, like your bust measurement divided, don't forget to replace all those dots we took out. So you replace those dots we took out, then you join the line. Okay, so I've marked our body measurement, also replace those dots we took out. So next I want to do now, I want to connect those points from our bust line to our underbust, and our underbust all the way to our allowance line. So don't forget to add your extra allowance. So I'm just adding extra 2-inch allowance to this. Now going to our bust line, I want to get the difference between my half length of the front and half length of the back. The difference is 1.5. So I just marked 1.5 from my bust line. I want to create like a slanted line all the way to my nipple to nipple measurement at that bust line. So this is the way I do it. You do yours like mine. I'm going to mark X. So all the places you see me like creating dashes are the parts we're going to cut out. Like we won't be needing them. Okay, now so that's done. Next I want to use my scissors to cut this out. Okay, now I want to separate our side front from our center front so we can take away our side dart. So I want to open up um those darts out. So just cut just like you see me cutting mine. So I'm not cutting it through. I'm leaving like a little gap. After that, I will close up those dots. See the way I close it? You close yours like mine. Then I'll use my tape to my solo tape to tape this up. So if you notice, I didn't cut exactly on my line. I gave some allowance out because when I will close up my side darts, I don't want it to like be a little bit shorter than the other part of it. So after taping this together with my solo tape, I will now go ahead to cut exactly on my allowance line. So after cutting our pattern paper, this is how it looks like. We have our front one and we have our front two. So now next we want to do now is to work on our sequence. We wouldn't just cut immediately on our sequence, no. So bringing up my sequence, the first thing I want to do is I want to iron my stay, my paper stay on this sequence. Like I'll open all the sequence up and I'll iron my stay on it first before I think about cutting. Okay, so here I've ironed my paper stay on my sequence and this is how it's looking like. So the main reason I did this is so that it's going to make my cutting easier, because if you notice one thing with sequence that it's kind of like elastic. It's doing like it works like velvet. So I want to stop that elasticity as much as I can. So what I'll do next is I want to cut out my skirt part first. It's just like a normal skirt part. I'll cut my front skirt part and I'll cut my back skirt part. Okay, what I did is I just at the top part of this, I just went ahead to make a line. So this line is going to be like my starting line for this skirt part. So I minus out my half length. That's my half length without the extra allowance added to my half length. To my half length is 17. I minus out that exact 17. Next, I will get the full length of this gown. And don't forget to add extra 2-inch allowance to the full length of this gown. So after doing that, we're just going to divide our waist measurement by 4, our hip measurement by 4, and just create our. So this is like how our front part of our skirt looks like. I have my waistline, I have the second line is my hip line, and this next line I'm marking right now is my slit, like my slit line where my slit would start from. So I've marked my waist measurement divided by 4 plus this my dart. Then I also added my extra 2-inch allowance. I have my hip divided by 4 and my extra 2-inch allowance for my dart. So I'm now going to create a curve. I kind of use like I use my. So I'm going to connect my waist measurement to my hip measurement, and for my that's my the slit line. I went in by, let me say, minusing 1 inch from my hip measurement, so I can get that kind of like an arc. So after doing that, I will then go all the way down using that same measurement I used at the slit part. Back to our top part, that's our padded part. So I've cut out on my sequence and also on my lining. On my lining, I didn't iron any stair. So this. Then I also have my skirt part. I finished cutting my skirt part. I've cut it on my sequence and also on my lining. The thing is that after cutting my front part of my skirt, I just placed it on my material again and added extra 2-inch allowance for my zipper. That's just all, and I cut it again out. So that's just what I did for my front part, for my skirt part. Sorry. So now I'm done with that. The next I want to do now is just I want to mark my slit, like where my slit will be. The slit is on one part of our leg, and it's not like I will not say it's on the center of our leg. No, it's kind of like at the side part of it. So I just turned my front part of my slit over to the place I want my slit to appear. After doing that, I'm going to get like the length I want my slit to start from. So that's just what I'm doing right now. I might not my half length out to get the length I want my slit to be. After doing that, I'll use my pen to just make a mark so I can make a straight mark there. Okay, so now that I'm done with that mark, I want to like place my tape on the folded part, that's the center part of this my front. Now I want to mark like you can use like 5.5, you can use 6 inch. I actually didn't know that the footage wasn't like I wasn't actually recording when I made those parts out. So I just want to show you what I did. From that center part of my distance, I went in by 6 inch, like 6 inch. So I marked 6 inch, and on that I marked 6 inch from top to bottom. After that, I placed my tape on that 6 inch, and I marked 1 inch at both sides. Not how we created our that for our posterior. That's what I did, kind of like what I did. Then I made a curve at that top part. That's just all. So now I'm just going to do turn off my skirt part out. So now my top part, now I want to make marks where I want my this thing to be, my padded to be. So I'm just getting my underbust, connecting my underbust line. Now this whole top part, I'll put pad on it. Now for this side, now it depends on the bust size you're working with though. You can use 3.5, you can use 4, you can use 4.5. Just depends on the bust size you're working with. So I decided to use 3.5 for mine. So I'm just creating a curve for it. So I didn't actually check measured what I used for the up, but it's going to be like 2 inch. Should be 2 inch. Okay, so I have 2 inch at the top part of this my side front, and I have 3.5 sorry at the down part. So I want to create curve for this other part. After doing that, I'll use my gum to attach my padded on this. Okay, so here I've attached my padded to this, and I use my scissors to trim the edges of this padded. So now that I'm done with that, next I want to do, I want to sew this. So placing my side front to my center front, I'll use my pin to hold it down. Now go to my machine to sew it. Make sure you're placing the underbust to the underbust. The underbust to the underbust. It should be equal. So after doing that, I'll go to my machine and I'll join this my padded and also do the same thing for my lining. Don't also forget to turn up your skirt part. For my front part, for my skirt part of the front, I turned up every part of it apart from the waistline. As for the back, I turned up everywhere, but the waistline, no, the 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 hip and the down part, like I turned up everywhere for the back. I almost forgot to show you before turning up my back part. I first of all placed it on my table, made it equal to equal. So the back is not as straight, it like has a curve. So that's what I'm trying to create. So I just got where I want my curve to be. You can use 5, you can use 6, depends on how many you want. So I'm used 5 for mine. After that, I marked my zipper allowance. That's my extra 2 inch zipper allowance. So now I'm going to create like a curve. See the way I'm creating my curve? Because the back is not straight, the back has a curve into the bottom part of it, the lower back. So I'm trying to create that my curve now. So just see the way I'm creating my curve and create yours like mine. Don't forget to place your back, your skirt part of the back equal to equal. Then you create your curve for this part. After doing that, I'll use my scissors to cut out this my curve right now. That's this curve I made at the waist part. I will cut it out. After cutting that, I will then go ahead to turn up every part of my back piece. Okay, so I've turned this my skirt part and I've turned it up, and this is just how it's looking like. And I also went ahead to press it flat with my iron. So this is just how it's looking. So this is my front part of it. If you notice, the only part I didn't turn up is my waistline that I didn't turn that part up. So let me show you how the back part looks like. And this is how my back part is looking like. If you notice in this back part, I turned up everywhere. Like I did full turn up for the back part of this. So back to my bustier part. This is my bustier. This is the front part of it, and if you notice, looking nice. So turning over, I will show you how the back part is looking like. I also did this, repeated the same process for my lining piece. I've joined my lining piece together, my center front, my side front, my side front, and my center front. So I'll take this aside. So now I just decided to minus out those that extra 2 inch allowance added to the side, to my front part of this. I felt like I wanted it to be I didn't want the allowance anymore, so I just minus this extra 2 inch I added to it. So this isn't a must. If you want your allowance to be there, you can leave it. So I just minusing mine. So as I'm minusing out on my main fabric, I'll equally do the same on my lining piece. So after minusing this part out, I'm kind of like removing that sharp end at the top part of this. So I'll equally do the same process for the other side, and I'll go ahead to cut this out. So after minusing that extra 2 inch out, this is how my front is looking like. Okay, so now remember I bought um ribbon. So I actually turned up my ribbon. So let me just show you. Let me use this black ribbon to show you how I achieved this. So opening up my ribbon, I'm just going to, like, I brought out you can, let me say, 10 inch or 15 inch. So this is how I placed it. I placed it, like, see the way I'm placing this, I placed it this way, and I went ahead to sew on each side of this so I can turn it up. Remember, this ribbon has a front side, so front to front, you join it together, and like, you sew on it so you can turn it up. So I turned up my ribbon basically. Okay, so this ribbon I turned up, what I'm going to make loops, because this is going to have a very, very long strap. So after I turned up this, I ironed this up, and that's how it's looking like. So I'm going to mark 2 inch. So I need a total of 4 loops, 2 on each sides of this front. So you see the way I folded it, and that's the way it's going to be. So I'm marking 2 inch, and I'll cut out all those 2 inch. So if you want, you can, if you don't want to use a ribbon for this, you can find a red material and turn up your red material, then you cut out 2 inch. So we just need 4 of these, 2 on each sides of this our front. So if you cut this out, you're going to fold it into 2 like this. I'm going to be placing one above the armhole, like below the armhole line. Just see how I'm placing. I'm going to place it exactly like this, giving it space that I will turn up. Like, you're not going to place exactly at the upper part, you go down by half inch. That half inch part you went down by, so you can be able to turn this up without affecting this these loops we are making. So after place, I'm going to place it on that region, and I'm going to go down a bit and place it at, let me say, below my underbust line. So I'm cutting another 2 right now to place on this other side. I'll place on this other side, use my pin to hold it down. Now look how I'm placing mine, and place yours like mine. I'm giving a bit, I'm going down a bit. That part I went down by is where I will, so that I can give allowance for my, so I don't know if you get what I'm saying, but just do yours like you see me doing mine. So I'm going to use my pin to hold this down so that it wouldn't shift when I want to start sewing. So now that's done. I'm going to cut another 2 inch again. Remember, I told you we need 4 of this. So I'm going to cut another 2 inch so we can place. So what I'm doing now is I'm placing my tape at my underbust. Okay. I want to get where my second loops will be. So if you want, you can keep the loops at your underbust line if you want, but I want to go down a bit from my underbust. So I decided to use 15 for mine. Okay, I decided to use 15 from 15.5 for mine. I'm just going to make marks so I can get that 15.5. So I have 2 inch distance from my underboss. So just make straight line at that point, make straight line. So now I know where I want my second loops to be. I'll cut that 2 inch again, and I'll place it the same way you saw me place the first loops. Cut it into two. Okay, so I used my ribbon to make bias strap that I will place at this my at the up part of this. So this thing should be my strap should be 70 by length. So now at my nipple to nipple measurements, at my shoulder line, I'm kind of marking out I'm going in by I'm going to my side by, you can go by your side to your side by 2.5, you can go to your side by 2 inch, it just depends. I'm going by to my side by 2.5. From that nipple to nipple measurement line, I'm marking to 2.5. That's the joining of our center front to our side front. You go to your side, you go in by 2.5. So that's done. And I'm going to place my strap to this. Remember, I said if you don't use a ribbon to create your strap and these loops, you can go ahead to find a red material to do this, but I want to use a ribbon for mine. So now that I'm done with that, I'm done marking that 2.5. See how where I placed my strap, you place yours like mine. Use your pin to hold it down. The essence of using your pin to hold it down is so that it wouldn't shift when you start sewing. So hold it down with your pin. I'll place it I'll place at the other side, and I also hold it down with my pin. So after doing this, I'm going to use my time for me to use my lining to turn this up. So I'll place my lining piece on this, and I will turn this up with my lining. So I'm just minusing that 2 inch. I know I minus out from my main material. So I'm going to minus that extra 2 inch out of my lining piece as well. After minusing it out, I'm going to go ahead to turn this up with my lining. Okay, so after minusing that 2 inch from my lining piece, now I brought out my Emmy gum. Try to try something new. So what I want to do now is I want to place my Emmy gum at the sides, so that as I'm stitching on, like I'm trying to turn this up, I'll also be sewing my Emmy gum with it. So I'll place it like just the way I'm placing it, and as I'm sewing, I'll be pushing my Emmy gum, let it be equal to equal with the material as well, and I will sew. So I'll do it for the sides and also for the front part of it. Okay, so here I've done it, and this is just how it's looking like. So when I'll iron this now, it's going to be easier now for me. Like I don't need to put my hand in my clothes. So now I'm going to use my scissors, create notch at my neckline. Why? Because I want it to be able to relax well. So like it's not going to be bulky at that part. I want it to relax as much as possible. So I'm trimming out all those excesses, and I'm nudging it. So after nudging this, what I'm going to do next is that we're going to now turn this up, and we're going to use our iron to iron it down. Okay, now ironing time. Don't forget you need to iron this as properly as possible. Don't forget to use your tailor's ham on your bust area, so you can give you that bust curve that is needed. So just iron this properly. Ironing is what will make like it's going to what will make your dress more beautiful and, let me say, neat. Okay, so this is what my bustier is looking like after ironing it. So the next thing I want to do now is that we're going to attach this to our skirt part, and that's just all for the making of this dress. So just attach your bustier to your skirt part. So I'm just going to place my tape at my underbust. I can get my half length because it should be attached at a half length line. So my underbust, I'll place my tape at my underbust, get my half length, and I'll make marks. So that's where I'm going to start attaching from that half length. So on my skirt part, I use my pin to hold it down after marking out my measurement. So I'm just going to attach my front part to this now. Then I'll go ahead to join my skirt part together. And this is our end result. I've gone ahead to attach my bustier to my front part, and this is just it. So thank you very much for stopping by, and thank you very much for watching this video. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you for watching, and God bless.